Surprise everybody, Marvel just casually decided to drop the trailer for Born Again Season 2 after months of radio silence. But hey, I'm not complaining, even if it is the same exact one they showed at New York Comic Con that I've seen probably at least 200 times by now, which isn't a joke. Yeah, that's right, I can finally admit to having an illegal copy of this trailer that I've been watching for months, and there is nothing they can do to stop me. The wait was absolutely worth it too, because my god, does this hit even harder now in HD? Whoever made the decision to set this teaser to Lithonia deserves a raise. Every single time that over-medicated hits when Jessica Jones walks in, my soul leaves my body and I ascend to a higher plane of existence. This might be my favorite trailer for any season of Daredevil ever. And that says a lot, because over these last 4 seasons, we have had so many good trailers. We got what, like just over 1 minute of footage to dissect here today? Let's see how long I end up talking about that for. Oh god, buckle up. For starters, this looks absolutely insane. From the trailer itself to the single hardest poster I have ever seen in my entire life, Daredevil is looking better than ever this season. The biggest indication that we are so back is that we have Matt Murdock crashing out in a church again. There's nothing I love more than seeing this man suffer, so this is a great indication for what we can expect this season. I'm sorry, man, but you're not allowed to be happy. Besides all of the crazy plot elements this teaser gives us a first look at, I think that my biggest takeaway from it is that they have made a huge improvement visually. The Netflix Daredevil series became known for how gorgeous its visuals were, so season 1 of Born Again had a lot to live up to. And while I do appreciate that style for what it is and that they tried to do something new, you can clearly tell that season 2 is a compromise and has given us the best of both worlds, as we're getting more of that familiar Daredevil lighting, all blended together with Benson and Moorhead's unique style, and I think it's going to lead to a visually spectacular season of Daredevil. Just look at this shot here of Matt in the bisexual lighting church. This is my favorite shot of the entire trailer as Matt reaches his hand out, clearly blending together the 2 signature lighting styles of Daredevil and Bullseye here. It is a great example of visual storytelling and a huge indication to me that we are seeing an improvement across the board. If you really want to see what I'm talking about, look at this comparison between the fight scene in Josie's bar during season 1 and then the brief glimpse of a fight scene we're seeing during season 2. They finally turned off the fog machine. I understand why they had to do it during season 1 because they had a limited time to make the VFX work, but man, it looks so much better when the fog is gone and we can actually see what's happening, but also appreciate the lighting in the scene. You can really tell that Benson and Moorhead were able to lock in now being able to handle a show without another creative vision getting in the way. Also, while we're on the topic of action, are we about to get a one-take prison break fight scene? This one shot here is the best camera work in the entire trailer as we see Daredevil throw his billy club at one of the anti-vigilante task force members, and it stays in one continuous tracking shot, which gives me reason to believe that the big one-take action scene of the season is going to be set during the prison break as Matt frees everyone that Fisk unlawfully detained. That's going to rip as an action sequence. I cannot wait to see Daredevil become this great liberator. If this is the kind of stuff they're willing to show us in the trailer, I can only imagine the cool things they're hiding from us for the show itself. I also really love this shot of Daredevil smiling because that's gotta be one of the scariest things a criminal could experience outside of Spider-Man not telling jokes. If Daredevil ever looked at me like that and smiled, I think I'd just kill myself on the spot to save myself from the ass kicking I'm about to receive. That man would turn my bones into a fine powder. You think I want to experience that? Look at the sick joy on his face here. He clearly likes what he's about to do. There is no coming back from that. That's the funny thing about superheroes with a no-kill rule like Daredevil, because he's not gonna kill you, but he's gonna make you wish you were dead. Oh my god, I feel like I could run through a wall right now. This trailer is just pure adrenaline. I am approaching unprecedented levels of hype that I have never experienced for a Marvel show before. And that's nothing against season 1 of Born Again. I unapologetically loved it. It's not perfect, and you can definitely tell they had to do some reshoots and reworking of the season, but it did the most important part of doing the heavy lifting, bringing back Daredevil's world in the MCU, all while giving us a great taste of what we can expect with him going forward. But here's the thing. What's so exciting to me about Daredevil Born Again Season 2 is that this is one entire season under a singular creative vision. This is going to be more cohesive, more visually intact, and infinitely more ambitious than the last one. Season 1 was Frankenstein together and was better than it had any right to be, but now Season 2 is when they really get to let loose and go wild without any restraints placed upon them. And because of that, it means we get to see new, exciting stuff like the return of Jessica Jones. It has been 7 long years waiting to see her again after season 3, and now we finally have the return of one of the most generational casting decisions of all time. Kristen Ritter's Jessica Jones is as perfect as you can get, and I feel like she never really lived up to her full potential after the masterful first season, so I am beyond excited to not only have her back, but see her in the mix with characters like Daredevil again. It's gonna hit like crack when we finally get to see her make fun of Matt Murdock again. If this season gives me nothing else, I need to see her make a Double D's joke about that new costume. Please, Marvel, just let Jessica bully him over them. It will fill a very big void in my heart. Outside of seeing Matt and Jessica's incredible dynamic together, I'm really interested to see how she fits into this story. If I've done my math correctly, it's been between 7 and 8 years since the last time we've seen her in universe, so I assume that a lot has changed. We don't even know if Jessica survived the snap at all, considering the fact that season 3 ended 2 days before Thanos killed half the universe. So I really hope we get an answer there and can have an understanding of what Jessica has been up to all this time. Head of Marvel Television Brad Winderbaum did tease we're gonna get answers there, and I really hope that one of them includes her getting back together with Luke Cage. Their relationship throughout the Defenders-verse was amazing, and I need to see more of it. I know they went their separate ways for a bit, but I cannot imagine a world where they are not together. Plus, it's a very easy way for us to get Luke Cage involved in this season, and we know Mike Coulter has had talks with Marvel already. I know he's going to appear in Born Again Season 2, but I just can't prove it yet. And this is possibly how. We know Matt is trying to recruit an army, and why wouldn't you want the guy with bulletproof skin on it? Especially going up against an anti-vigilante task force? He's basically a cheat code to run through them all. When it comes to Luke Cage, I especially want to see him back so that he can become the mayor after Kingpin like he did in the comics. It's a very natural way to bring him into the universe and immediately make him feel important. And then, you know, once we got Luke Cage and Jessica Jones and Daredevil back, it only makes sense to bring Iron Fist back, and then we will finally have the Defenders together again, and I will know peace once more. I don't care what you say, Finn Jones was great in season 2 of Iron Fist, and that one Heroes for Hire episode, and I need more of that, and it all starts with Jessica Jones bringing back Luke Cage, bringing back Iron Fist. But that's all just speculation. Let's talk about the things we actually know are going to happen in this season. Starting with Matt and Karen seemingly back together again as a couple. Heather became a fascist monster like, what, 10 minutes ago, and Matt's already back together with Karen? What a whore. Really can't blame the guy. They are a one true pairing for a reason. Plus, one of the few times ever that we see Matt happy is when he's with Karen, so good for them. It's going to be really nice to see them be a proper couple for hopefully an entire season of Daredevil. They never really stuck during the original Netflix series, so this is an opportunity to finally let them be a couple. Most importantly though, I am just so glad that we're finally going to see Karen again for an entire season of Daredevil. Having her show up for 2 episodes last season was nice, but this is Karen Page we're talking about. If you're gonna brutally rip Foggy away from me, then you better give me Karen for a full season, and I am so glad that's going to be the status quo here. What's even cooler though is that it seems like we're going to see Matt and Karen lead a revolution together, which is maybe the coolest thing that's ever happened in the superhero genre. Seeing Matt and Karen finally get to a place of normalcy, only for Fisk to disrupt that and force them to go on the run, is going to be really exciting because it basically forces these two to be joined at the hip, and when you're spending that much time with someone, romance is basically inevitable. The idea of Daredevil becoming this symbol of resistance is one of the coolest ideas ever and a great evolution of his character, especially coming out of Born Again Season 1 and the arc he went on there. I love the idea of having an entire season where Matt was struggling with if he wanted to be Daredevil again after Foggy was tragically killed, only to finally relapse on violence and put on the cowl again, realizing that his inaction directly led to Fisk's takeover, and now seeing him feel this sense of responsibility to fight back and lead the charge against him is going to be beautiful to witness. It is the kind of revolutionary story that we need right now more than ever. And God, is he gonna look good doing it, because this new costume is by far the best Daredevil suit of all time. I will not hear otherwise. Not only does it fit him better with the new slim design, or the gorgeous black paint job that we're gonna see chip away to reveal the red bleeding through underneath over the course of the season, but it finally has those big, beautiful double Ds on the front of the costume, which I have waited my entire life to see. That right there is Daredevil. If you thought he was R farming before, you better get ready for season 2, because we are about to see new levels of aura that have never been reached before. I'll save you the yapping because I could talk for hours dissecting every little detail about this suit and why I love it so much, but just know I am beyond happy finally seeing Daredevil with this look in live action. And I'll even go as far as to say that the wait was worth it because I love the emotional and thematic significance there is behind the double D's on this costume. Fisk outlawing vigilantes, causing Matt to double down on being Daredevil, literally putting this logo on his suit as an FU to his fascist regime, becoming this symbol of resistance is beautiful. We can see on so many of the set photos that there is this resist, rebel mantra going around to stand up to Fisk, and all of the iconography revolves around Daredevil's logo, which I think is such an inspired decision. It makes that 11-year wait worth it, as Daredevil is using this logo as an act of defiance against Fisk, making him a proper symbol as a superhero. There's nothing more inspiring than that. Also, small detail I really love in this trailer that I want to point out is how it ends with the two double D's being the first to fade to black on the logo. It's the little things like that which go a long way. It's so cool. Even if the logo does read "are evil" now, but that's fine. The aura always comes first. And you know what? Yeah, Marvel Television are evil for making us wait this long to see the trailer. Grammatically, that makes no sense, but you get my point. On the complete opposite end of the spectrum of coolness, we have Dex drinking a milkshake, which is cool in its own right, but more so just kind of wholesome. Like, come on, you want me to stay mad at that face? So what if he might have killed at least 14 people last season? He's just a silly little guy with a milkshake. This is funnier than it should be to me. The fact that he gets a cherry on top and everything is just chef's kiss. It's so beast that he tried to assassinate the Kingpin and then went to get a milkshake afterwards. I love this guy. Please give me more wacky Dex stuff like this. What's so fun about Bullseye in the comics is that he is a sociopath who has fun with what he's doing. One moment he's a stone cold killer, and the other he is an unhinged lunatic, switching between both on a dime. If Born Again taps into even 0.25% of his murderous whimsy, we are in for a treat, and this milkshake is a great sign of what's to come. Out of everybody this season, Dex is the biggest wild card to me because I don't really know how he's going to fit into the story. From the set photos we've seen, I feel like we might see a Daredevil and Bullseye team up, which could be really interesting as this enemy of my enemy is my friend type situation. And I think the way to make that work is to have Daredevil become Dex's new North Star. In season 3 of Daredevil, they established this idea that Dex needs a North Star to guide his internal compass, and I really love the idea of Daredevil becoming that for him. It can't be his therapist anymore, and it definitely isn't Julie after he iced her, so I think that Daredevil becoming his new guiding point in life would be a really interesting idea to drive the point home in this rivalry as Dex starts to revolve his entire life around Matt. Obviously, they're not going to be on the same page right away, especially after what he did to Foggy, but I think it could be really interesting if Matt tries to help Dex and get him back on the right path, shifting into this North Star role for Dex to follow, only for that to immediately fall apart, and then using that to cope with his violence and dedicating his life to ruining Matt's in a way. I see a whole lot of potential there and cannot wait to see how it unfolds on screen. And circling back around to that Foggy point from earlier, he's definitely alive. You cannot convince me otherwise. Foggy lives this season. I know this is definitely a flashback. Just look at his hair, but he's going to be alive. I will bet my life on this. Okay, you know what? No, maybe not my life. That's a little drastic. On all of your lives, Foggy lives this season. He's clearly rocking the season 1 and 2 look here, so that makes me wonder if it could be something to do with the hand. I know my knees are shattered from jumping to conclusions, but you gotta think this one through with me, okay? Hear me out. We know that the hand are going to return in Spider-Man Brand New Day. Insane sense that's still hard to process. Just yesterday, it was rumored that they're going to appear in Born Again Season 3. Foggy looked like this when they were dealing with the hand situation in Season 2. And the more I say this out loud, the less likely it seems, and I'm probably just coping, but they need to resurrect Foggy, okay? I cannot have a season of Daredevil where he's not alive in the present day. I feel like the most likely option is that it's just a flashback dedicated to showing us Matt and Foggy's relationship together to parallel events happening in the present day as Matt misses Foggy. And I'm fine with that because it's kind of hard to tie the hand into the past, and I've clearly lost my mind a little bit, so let's just get back in touch with reality and understand the fact that this flashback is going to hurt a lot seeing Foggy again like that, but man is it worth it because I really miss seeing Foggy. That being said, I refuse to flinch and will stand on the idea that Foggy will live. The entire Red Hook plotline from season 1 that directly led to his death has had no closure whatsoever, so I am convinced they have done that for a reason, and we will see a tease this season of Foggy's return, and they will set it up for season 3. Please, I need this. Okay, that's enough of my delusions. It's time for a very important public service announcement. Don't fall for the anti-vigilante task force propaganda sewn into this trailer. You see all this footage of the task force helping people? Don't trust it. I genuinely think all that footage is going to be propaganda that Fisk is putting out to make it seem like the task force are beloved by the city, when in reality you can look at the stark contrast between them being friendly and the actual protests happening against them, which tells the whole story. They are not to be trusted in the slightest, especially when you look a little closely and read between the lines. You can clearly see the incredibly horrifying actions they're getting up to. If you look away from the protest, over here at the stairs, you can clearly see a memorial. That makes me think the anti-vigilante task force executed an innocent person in broad daylight, showing just how corrupt with power they are. We can all agree that's bad, right? This clearly corrupt law enforcement agency that has no right to exist in the first place should not be going around killing people. And if that feels all too familiar, it clearly mirrors what's going on nowadays with ICE's terrorism in real life. Two organizations that operate above the law and have these people operating on pure agendas, which both need to be abolished. If you swap out immigrants for vigilantes, it is scarily accurate how much this show is paralleling the horrifying events we're seeing play out in real time. We already saw Born Again touch on this a little bit in season 1 when the anti-vigilante task force officers killed this kid and claimed he was a vigilante to get away with it, which once again mirrors what we're seeing in the real world when people are using these labels to falsely try and criminalize these people and justify murder. It's crazy how well Born Again continues to age, and at this rate could be one of the most relevant Marvel series to date. Alright, this section got a little heavy and sad, so here's the Punisher ripping through some anti-vigilante task force agents. As if this whole show couldn't get more timely, let's finally talk about fascist Fisk over here breaking the law and experiencing no consequences from it. Because he's definitely gonna kill that guy in the ring, right? Vincent D'Onofrio teased that there's gonna be many more jaw-dropping moments like that one we saw in season 1, pun very much so intended, and I can only imagine one of those is going to be Fisk beating a man to death in the middle of the ring and getting away with it. For a character like the Kingpin who thrives on violence and basically treats it like an addiction, being put in this setting where he's legally about to beat someone really makes me think he's going to snap and we're going to see him kill someone with the world watching and nothing will happen to him because he is completely invulnerable in the fascist empire he has set up in New York City. Seeing a politician blatantly break the law like that and get away with it is nothing new. We've basically been experiencing that like never before for the last year straight. But Fisk being able to kill someone and walk away without anyone even questioning his judgment is going to be a really interesting way to show just how powerful he's become. And I feel like that's going to be the match which lights the powder keg in New York City, causing the resistance to explode. The most interesting form of rebellion we have a tease of in this trailer though is this guy making anti-Fisk ads with this big fake Kingpin mask on. First of all, great craftsmanship. Whoever's making this knows what they're doing. But as for the identity of this person, I wonder if this is going to be Matthew Lillard's character, Mr. Charles. Oh yeah, Matthew Lillard is in this season. I haven't mentioned that yet, but it's insane to think we have Shaggy and William Afton in Daredevil now. But what's so interesting to me is that we know very little about his character. The only information we have is that he's apparently going to be an antagonist to Fisk this season, directly challenging his power. We've seen some stills of the two face to face, and I feel like Mr. Charles is going to be leading this investigation against the Kingpin, but I think it could be interesting if in private he was putting out these videos against the Kingpin. It would tie really well into the theme of identity in this series as we see him living a double life, and could be a great way to naturally make him feel included in the Revolution arc of the show. Regardless of who that is or if I'm blowing this up way out of proportion, I just think it's really cool we have Matthew Lillard in this show, and I really hope they give him some moments to just chew some scenery. You want to know what the absolute best part of this trailer was though? Cherry wasn't in it. That bald fraud was nowhere to be seen, which already makes this better than the first season. Look at this smug coward. That is the most soon to be killed off character of all time. And what a glorious day it will be when he finally meets his timely end. The worst thing about Cherry probably dying in Born Again Season 2 is that it didn't happen sooner. God, I feel like I'm gonna run out of breath from talking so much, but I am so excited about this season of Daredevil. I say it every single time, but that Netflix show is my favorite series of all time, and Daredevil is one of my all-time favorite characters, so my hype is always going to be through the roof for this. What's even more exciting though is that March going into April is going to be insanely stacked for the superhero genre. First, we got on March 18th, then Born Again Season 2 drops March 24th, followed up by The Boys Season 5 on April 8th. We are going to be eating so good going into the spring. There is so much to talk about and get excited for. At this point, I feel like I need to quit my job to watch this stuff full time. I feel like that's the big takeaway here, right? There is a lot of superhero television to look forward to in the future, and nothing more than Born Again Season 2 for me. I'm going to be insufferable about this show when it drops. My entire world revolves around Daredevil. This is the only thing I'm going to be talking about. That is, unless Sony finally decides to lock in and drop the Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer. Every single superhero project that releases in the first half of the year has already gotten a trailer, which means you're up, Sony. Please stop keeping me waiting and just drop the Spider-Man trailer next week. We've all seen it already. You have nothing to hide anymore. Give me pictures of Spider-Man. On that threatening note, why don't you let me know what you thought of the first teaser for Daredevil Born Again Season 2? I would genuinely love to hear what everyone has to say and continue the conversation down below. And while you're at it, make sure to give this video a like and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. If you don't do it, I challenge you to a boxing match. I may or may not kill you in the ring. Maybe you'll kill me it doesn't matter. Just subscribe so neither of us die in the ring.